Last year I entered a modeling competition on Instagram and it changed my life forever. Well, not really, but I did get featured on national TV, in the international press, even on a radio station in Perth.
Domino's Pizza as a hand model.
And I also got some free pizza. Strap yourself in, get ready for the white knuckle story of how I became the very first Domino's Pizza hand model. In May of last year, Domino's uploaded a story onto Instagram saying they were looking for a hand model. Now, my first instinct was to take a screenshot and make a cheeky little hand job joke, but then I thought about it. Actually, my wife has some pizza in the fridge left over from a staff meeting, so, why don't I just apply for this position? It might be fun. So I quickly whipped up a video set to a very obvious Beatles song featuring some dodgy choreography and some very cheap jokes. I didn't think anything of it until a few days later when I got a call from Domino's marketing. It was a foot or a hand in the door. They later sent me an email which I filled out and then boom, that was it. They wanted me for the position of Domino's hand model. Now, the way it was legally structured, it was a proper job. So they sent on for tax file number declaration, super form, and a contract. So it was pretty serious. And I think about a week later, I was on my way to Domino's HQ in Hamilton. Now, Hamilton is about a 40-minute drive away from me, which maybe that's why they gave me the position. I'm not quite sure. I was probably one of the very few applicants who lived within driving distance of Domino's headquarters. But anyway, I do like to think it was, because my audition stood out. Who knows? It doesn't bear thinking about. Anyway, I got there about 9 o'clock. They gave me this t-shirt, a badge, and a box of hand-related Domino's goodies, which I happen to have right here. It features some sanitizer, moisturizer, mints, a wristband, and a manicure set. Everything an aspiring hand model needs and a little bit more. After that, I did a tour of the headquarters, which meant meeting and also showing my hands to a lot of people from a lot of different departments. There was one guy in accounting who was really interested in taking a very close look at my hands. I'm not quite sure why. It was pretty interesting to see where the website is updated and the products are developed. Just to think I was in the same room as the person who came up with the hot dog pizza. The mind boggles. They filmed a lot of stuff for socials, including going to the restaurant downstairs. And I also did film an interview with the head chef in the experimental kitchen there. Now, that actually never got published on any social media thing. I'm not quite sure why. I think maybe it was too controversial. They did ask me which pizza topping I most like, and I said that I'm like olives because a lot of people dislike me, but some people do appreciate me. Much like olives. I think maybe they didn't appreciate the olive slander, so that was never shown. That never saw the light of day. I don't know where it is. After all that, it was time to then do some modeling. Now, it was a pretty easy gig. I just had to hold some stuff and lean awkwardly over a table. But as I did note to the press, that leaning over the table did get a little bit painful after a while. I mean, it's not exactly working in the mines, but it's not quite as easy as it looks. Well, it's only slightly harder than it looks, but whatever. As you'd expect, it did involve handling a lot of food, and I even got to take a sneak peek at the as yet unreleased items, the hot dog pizza, or rather the pizza hot dog, I forget what it's called, and the onion rings. Very exciting stuff. And I also did get to nibble on some of the props, but they were pretty cold by the time, we'd finished taking photographs. So I wasn't that exciting. Then after that, I had an interview with the then CEO of Domino's, Mr. Don May, and he was a really cool guy. I liked him. I was pretty nervous. In fact, I even called him Dom.
Great to meet you, Matt. Nice to meet you, Dom.
Which was pretty embarrassing, but he humored me gracefully and he didn't hold back from asking the tough questions.
If a famous actor had to play your hand, who would it be?
I like to think that it was our conversation which inspired him to launch his own podcast, but who knows. There had been talk earlier in the day that Channel 9 were interested in coming over to do a story on the Domino's hand model. Now, I thought surely there were more interesting things happening in Brisbane on that day, but sure enough, the very lovely Ebony Cavallaro and a cameraman did come along to shoot a very short story for the news. Ebony was sharp and captivating and didn't hold back from asking the tough questions.
Is it harder than you would think, or?
You know what? It's not the hand modelling that's difficult. It is the standing, actually.
I remember answering one question with a hand job reference, which really freaked out the girls from Domino's marketing. So sadly, that did not make the broadcast. But the interview was otherwise a textbook example of hard-hitting, no-holds-barred journalism.
He does the job with zest And a sense of humour too.
With the stipulations of my contract dutifully carried out, I was given a termination letter and a farewell pizza on the back deck. It was a pretty fun day and I got along really well with all the people at Domino's Marketing. They're a good bunch of people and it's fun to see them in a lot of these social marketing stuff. Like this girl here, I spent most of the day with her. She was very nice. And yeah, you see her a lot in the Domino's Pizza social media videos. So after a grueling 3 hours of work, it was time to use my hands to drive myself home. With my hands at 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock, it was time to bid farewell to my Domino's hand modeling career. Job finished. Or so I thought. The Channel 9 news story aired later that night, sparking a pretty odd level of press.
To be Domino's Pizza's new hand model.
First, there was a write-up in news.com.au where they spelled my name incorrectly. Thank you for that. It's still there. And a variety of other publications. The story even made it to Japan for some reason. I guess the story was the right blend of novelty and thinly disguised pizza commercial because Domino's rang me later that night to see if I was interested in appearing on the Today Show the following morning. Of course I was. So the next morning, I got up quite early to make the rather long drive up Mount Cootha to the Channel 9 studios. It was pretty exciting to be on hallowed grounds, I think, but definitely everything except the news set was a bit old and dated. There was one single guy there, and the whole place kind of reminded me of a community radio station. Anyway, the interview was broadcast out of this little cupboard with a TV and a camera. Because of the scheduling of breakfast time TV, I was waiting there for a good 50 minutes. Anyway, the girls from Domino's Marketing did come to visit and they did warn me against making any crude sexual references, to do with like hands and whatnot. I promised them I would try my best. Anyway, finally at around 8 a.m. or something, I had the chance to talk with Mr. Stefanovic himself. The interview went all right, but Stefanovic did appear unable to hide his disgust. And to be honest, I don't blame him. He got a degree in journalism from QUT, and here he is participating in basically a commercial for Domino's Pizza, talking to a hand model. Finally, he couldn't hold back from getting a little dig in. Watch this.
You have delicate-looking, smaller hands. Do they make the pizzas look bigger?
They make a lot of things look bigger, actually. So, yeah.
Unfortunately, I did break my promise to the ladies from Domino's Marketing not to say anything weird, but Stefanovic brought it up. I blame him. From there, the media onslaught hadn't quite finished. I did have this interview with some guys from Perth.
Can I ask you about your nails, Matty? Because I think good hands have got good nails. Are you a bloke that goes in and takes extra care of the nails?
I think comparatively, yes.
Some people from Triple M in regional Queensland somewhere.
What's next from here? I mean, is there niche websites that you could utilise to make a bit more cash?
There are. I am actually thinking of just working my way up, maybe being an elbow model later.
And the very next day, I did have an interview with Breakfast Radio in Adelaide.
Do you get free pizzas for life or anything like that?
No, it wasn't. Not like an endless supply of pizza. No, I did get a lovely lunch at Domino's HQ. Some free pizzas here and there, but no, definitely not a gold card for pizzas.
It's a shame.
No.
It is.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't tried it out. I might go into a store and just put my hands on the counter and say, "Look at these."
Oh my God. Don't you know who I am?
Where's my free pizza? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, for some reason, this interview was really early in the morning, and I think if you listen carefully, you can tell that I'm a little bit tired.
Matt, obviously, just congratulations on the new hand job.
I appreciate it, Matt. We both worked hard. But yeah, there could only be one at the end.
Yeah, I know.
That was the end of my press obligations, but there was reference to the story on the cheap seats later that week.
State of Origin wasn't the only big win for Queensland this week.
After a nationwide search, a Queenslander has been chosen to be Domino's Pizza's new hand model.
Huge win for Queensland school teacher.
Queenshander.
Now, I would have loved to have met Melanie Bracewell and the other guy, but, to even just have been on her mind for a few brief seconds is quite an honour.
Hire me for more hand modelling gigs or other body parts.
I'll take a kidney.
Anyway, very quickly after that, the buzz had died down and the Domino's hand model became yesterday's news. So after all of that, where did the modeling pictures actually appear? To be honest, I don't think I saw them anywhere. That's the crazy thing. There was all this press about being the Domino's hand model, but I don't think I saw my hand pictures anywhere, except maybe in the hot dog pizza thing that came out a few months later. It resembles my hand, it could be my hand, but then again, it could just as easily be the other, like, there were some guys there from marketing as well that, you know, do show their hands. So it is a male hand of roughly my age. It could be mine, but it might not be. Everything else I modeled, it wasn't my hand at all. It seems to be a woman's hand. So, you know, it's as if they weren't really looking for a hand model. It was just a marketing ploy to get Domino's on the news that night. But that would mean the whole thing was just a marketing stunt. Surely that can't be true. I still get asked on at least a weekly basis if I'm still modeling for Domino's. I'm not. It was a one-day thing. That's it. I don't get free pizzas. I don't get recognized for my hands on the street, as you may have guessed. In fact, I didn't even get recognized at Domino's. Did you hear about that guy that got the job doing hand modeling for Domino's? There was this guy that he got a job doing hand modeling for Domino's. Did you hear about that? It was on the news. Yeah, it was. It's pretty interesting. I wonder what that guy's like. Yeah. All right, I'll wait in the car. So anyway, that's the full rundown of how I became a Domino's hand model and some of the stuff surrounding it. It was a pretty fun time. It was nice to meet everyone from marketing. They were all really lovely. It was a good experience. I would love to do it again. If you represent a company and you need some hand modeling, then give me a call. Sling me an email. I'm happy to do some more if the price is right. And like I said, in quite a few of the interviews, if you'd like me to model an elbow or shoulder, whatever, my body parts are available. Well, not all of them, just... Anyway, for everyone else, make sure to leave a like and a comment. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And many thanks for watching. I will catch you all later. Cheers.
I mean, the other idea I had for Max when we found out he didn't get the Domino's gig was that he could open up an Only Hands account and make millions. You two could be a pair. 4 hands are always better than 2, I say.
Do you say that, Ali?
It's a famous saying, I'm sure.
Just trying to imagine what we're going there. Just lots of high-fiving and handshakes, I guess.
That's a good point, actually.
Mate, I reckon Only Hands, you might need to step it up a little bit.
Yeah.